My sister was the most amazing woman you could ever imagine. She was articulate, beautiful, talented. She wrote wonderfully. She was my guiding spirit. She was my guiding light. She had two wonderful children. We're a lumpy family, so we've had lumps removed from our breast before. Wasn't really an issue. I've had stuff removed. My mum had breast cancer, I think 2014, and she had a mastectomy, and it's just dealt with, just breast removed, and then she's on medication, and she's been fine since then. My sister, however, was different. She had a very painful lump in her breast. She had a cyst, but hiding behind the cyst was a cancerous lump. It was a painful, aggressive, horrible kind that fought against the chemotherapy, that fought against the radiotherapy. Throughout all of the treatment, she kept such a positive attitude throughout the pain, throughout the discomfort, throughout everything. She was working up until maybe 2 months before she passed, keeping and sustaining a full-time job. She was able to, once she realised what the prognosis was going to be, she put all of her affairs in order. She made sure her house and her children and her family were able to face up to what was going to happen, and that we were as prepared as we could be for life without her. I met the hospice at a business event and was aware of them, but my sister did her research, and she found out about St Francis Hospice through doing some research and looking at other hospices, and she chose St Francis Hospice to work with because she likes the values and the ethos and how they were, having researched what her options were. We looked to the hospice to really take us through the next stage, or take us through the next week, and take us through the next day. And they were there. It was all about being person-centred. It was all about the care that Wendy needed and we as a family needed. At times you don't want to be Wendy with cancer. You don't want to be the patient. You just want to be yourself. And there were times that here, she could just be Wendy. We felt safe here. Everything else around us was chaotic, and we had no idea where the future was. But the hospice was the safe, anchored point that kept us really grounded, and has continued to do so. My nephew, my nieces, my sister's children, and myself have had the counselling and continue to have the support from the hospice. And when I spoke to my nephew about coming here today, he reminded me, it's all free. We didn't pay a penny for it at all. Wendy passed on Christmas Eve 2019, and that's a really significant day for us. What had happened was her son had just agreed to have some counselling from the hospice, and he just said, okay, and well, I'm okay. I'll talk to someone. When we told Wendy that, I guess she was able to let go. I remember her last hours. I remember her fight to still be here. I remember all of those things. And I remember the peace that we had in our bubble, with the care coming in, the nurses coming in, the doctors coming in and talking to us and keeping us updated and letting us know what was going on. Wendy had quality of life at her end of life. It was not just about medication and pain management. We got to know nurses, we got to know, other people. To be here with Wendy when she passed meant everything to us. And I hope she knows that we were there. She would expect us to be there. It was a tough time, and it's still a tough time. But we're happy that she passed here where she wanted to, and she passed as peacefully as she could.